come out to play. Warriors, 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 come out.
See, a guy like Washington couldn't, he didn't have the, he didn't have the skill set, because I think he did, but he doesn't have the experience, the grittiness to sustain what he was doing in the first 3 rounds. Not that he was hurting, I don't think he was hurting Wilder, but what he was doing was keeping him confused and beating him to the punch, and basically outboxing him. So, you know, I don't think he was, I don't ever think that he was much of a threat in order to win that fight. But what I think he did was he was able to take advantage of the flaws that that Wilder has, right? You know, he cannot, you know, he's got bad footwork. He kind of stands wide, flat-footed, doesn't really know how to set up his punches or come forward. But for Washington, it was important for him to continue that pace in order to survive that fight, or give him more problems. As soon as Wilder saw that, you know, that Washington couldn't sustain that, he started to walk forward. As bad as he does it, it wouldn't matter, because as we saw, as soon as he started touching Washington started to break apart, right? He just started to break down. And even though I personally don't agree with the stoppage, basically Washington was a done fighter. It was just a matter of time anyway. Some people feel like the fix that was in that fight. In terms of the scorecards, they were really bad, because I think they all had Deontay winning after 4 rounds, which was, to me, was impossible. But you know, I always take that into consideration. But I'm just looking at the fight itself, right? And Washington is not he was not a guy that was ever really a threat for that fight. I think is the reason why they picked him, and that's why he got that chance, and ultimately, you know, lost the fight and got stopped. But you know, Wilder's gonna have an interesting test with Fury, because to me it comes down to, when I watch the mistakes that Wilder has made throughout his career, I never seen a guy that was in there that could take advantage of that, sustained advantage of that. Do you have to give credit to Wilder? That's obvious, right? That's obvious no matter who his opponent is, no matter how shitty the opponent I think they might be. Wilder was able to get himself out of certain troubles like he had with Szpilka, Washington, Duhaupas, maybe I'm forgetting somebody else, Ortiz. So maybe, you know, maybe those guys weren't up to par. Maybe they weren't up to par to keep confusing and keep making Wilder work at a pace where, you know, where he's gonna have to outbox his way out of the situation, right? Maybe that's the case. Maybe with Fury is gonna be different. You know, I like Fury's mindset going into this fight. I do. I've always liked Fury's mindset going into any fight. To me, the difference between Fury of the past past, well, before he retired. And now is that, you know, I'm not too confident that he could come back from a long layoff, not really fighting anybody, and then having to fight a guy like Deontay Wilder, who I believe is a very flawed boxer. He's an elite athlete, very strong, right? Durable. He does have heart. He really believes in himself. So, can Fury take advantage of his early mistakes? Some of Wilder's early mistakes, and if he does, can he sustain that? Can he keep doing it in the later rounds? Right? I believe if he does all that, he wins for sure. I think he wins the fight. But if he can't, then and that's when my questions come in with the long layoff. Then I have to go with Wilder. So that's my pick. I do believe there's going to be some A-side politics, there's some bullshit. And what I think is that they're going to go 12 rounds. I have a feeling they're going to go 12. If there is a knockout, it'll be late. And I think more than likely, either guy can knock each other out late. Probably slightly favor Wilder to do that late. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I got Wilder winning by a decision, a controversial one. It will be a close fight. And I got Wilder winning by a majority, one of those kind of majority decisions.